This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(8:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The proposed Asvasma Social Benefit Act was taken up for debate in the Parliament today. Landslide warning for 7 districts issued due to the prevailing inclement weather conditions. Suitable members from the general public were selected through a proper filtering system for the Social Beneficiary Payment Scheme. Minister Manusha Nanayakara says the country's economy has improved within a year with the support of the migrant workers. The remittances of the migrant workers have become one of the main foreign income sources for the country. Prices of imported milk powder to be reduced. Foreign Affairs Minister Ali Sabri holds talks with a Swedish counterpart on bolstering trade and investment. In news overseas, Imran Khan to be released from custody in Pakistan, court rules. And in sports news, it's soccer, Argentine captain Lionel Messi to start for Paris Saint-Germain for the first time since suspension. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. The Education Ministry says the government schools will be closed from the 27th of this month to the 11th of June. The decision was taken due to the commencement of the GC Ordinary Level Examination on the 29th of this month. Landslide warnings for 7 districts issued due to prevailing inclement weather conditions. Accordingly, few division secretariats of Ratnapura, Colombo, Galle, Kalutara and Mathura districts were issued with their landslide warnings. The operations of the Immigrant and Immigration Department have been made efficient. The department requests the general public, especially those who pre-register themselves on a daily basis with the department for the processing should be reported on the same day. Passport applications will be processed accordingly. The Parliament of Sri Lanka has approved the appointment of the 21-member Select Committee to investigate matters related to the damage caused by both MT New Diamond and Express Pearl vessels. The setting up of a 21-member Parliamentary Select Committee was approved in Parliament today. Accordingly, the committee will be tasked with investigating and making suitable recommendations related to the disasters caused by both international vessels which were gutted in separate fires within the Sri Lankan territorial waters. Meanwhile, the prices of imported milk powder will be reduced by 200 rupees per kilogram from the 15th of May, Trade Minister Nalin Fernando said. Milk powder importers have agreed to reduce the prices of milk powder following a discussion in this regard. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank Excelsior. Live the life you want.
And we continue with more local news. Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri has discussed several concerns pertaining to the island nation with his Swedish counterpart during his current visit to Stockholm, Sweden. The meeting took place on the sidelines of the second Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum scheduled to take place tomorrow. Accordingly, matters pertaining to the enhancement of trade and investment between the two nations were discussed, while opinions on Sri Lanka's reconciliation, economic recovery and reforms were also shared, Mr. Sabri said in a Twitter statement. The second Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum is organized under the Swedish presidency of the Council of the European Union in collaboration with the European External Action Service, with foreign ministers of the EU and Indo-Pacific region expected to attend. The forum will be co-chaired by the Swedish Foreign Minister and the High Representative from the Foreign Affairs and Security Policy and Vice President of the European Commission, Joseph Borrell. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's Foreign Ministry, Minister Sabri, will co-chair the first roundtable discussions under the theme of Building More Sustainable and Inclusive Prosperity Together, one of the 3 roundtables of the forum. Minister Manusha Nanayakara says that the country's economy has improved within a year with the support of the migrant workers. The remittances of the migrant workers have become one of the main foreign income resources of the country. The minister made these remarks at a simple ceremony held at Katunayake Bandaranaike International Airport to send off the first batch of nurses to Singapore for employment purposes. Many nurses are recruited in Sri Lanka due to the hospitality attitude of the Sri Lankan citizens. The Sri Lankan hospital and health services are well structured to enlist many nurses annually, which has created opportunities to send nurses to foreign countries for employment purposes. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The proposed Aswasma Social Benefit Act was taken up for debate in Parliament today. Landslide warning for 7 districts issued due to the prevailing inclement weather conditions. Suitable members of the general public were selected through a proper filtering system for the social beneficiary payment scheme. Minister Manusha Nanayakara says the country's economy has improved within a year with the support of the migrant workers. The remittances of the migrant workers have become one of the main foreign income sources of the country. Prices of milk powder to be reduced. Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri holds talks with his Swedish counterpart on bolstering trade and investment. And that was the local news.
People's Bank Excelsior, a comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you. People's Bank Excelsior, for professionals who dare to dream.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for tonight, the proposed Aswasma Social Benefit Act was taken up for debate in Parliament today. Joining the debate, State Minister Anupama Pascal said suitable members were selected through a proper filtering system for this beneficiary payment. The process was carried out in a transparent manner, he added. The payments for the beneficiaries are also increased. Parliamentarian Ranjith Manduma Bandara said the social benefits should be provided in a fair manner to all underprivileged common masses. The country has gone down to this level due to many lapses in the government policies, the MP alleged. Joining the debate, Parliamentarian Gayantha Karunatilaka said the social benefits are given in the world countries in order to minimize the malpractices of socio-economic structure. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Washington tonight, consultant community physician Dr. Nimalka Pannilehetti of the National Dengue Control Unit yesterday said that over 2,000 dengue cases are reported weekly. She said that 50% of the currently reported dengue cases have been infected with the dengue type 2 virus and that the number of infected cases has risen to an epidemic level. She made this comment while participating in a press conference held at the Community Medical Specialists Association headquarters in Colombo 7 yesterday. She stated, since the beginning of this year, about 32,600 dengue cases have been reported and 16 deaths have occurred. That came to you in Washlight, and now let's move on to the headlines of the world news. Imran Khan to be released from custody in Pakistan, the court rules. Pope Francis warns pets must not replace children in Italy. Ukraine claims gains in Bakhmut after Russian denial. Those were the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. Pakistan's ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan is to be freed from custody a day after the Supreme Court ruled his dramatic arrest on corruption charges was illegal. Judges granted Mr. Khan protected bail, meaning he cannot be re-arrested on those charges for 2 weeks. The court has also ordered that he could not be arrested on any charges filed after last Tuesday until the 17th of May. Starting a family in Italy is becoming a titanic effort and that only the rich can afford, Pope Francis has warned. Addressing a conference on Italy's demographic crisis, he said pets were replacing children in many households. Also on stage were dozens of young people wearing t-shirts saying, "We can do this," alluding to convince people to have more children. Italy has one of the lowest fertility rates in the EU and births have dropped below 400,000 last year, a new low. Ukraine says it has recaptured ground in Bakhmut, a rare advance after months of grinding Russian gains in the eastern city. Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said Ukrainian forces advanced 2 kilometers in a week. The claims signal a momentum shift in Bakhmut, but more widely, there is no clear evidence of the much anticipated Ukrainian counter-offensive. And that was the world news.
Development news.
In development news, Batticare, the full-service subsidiary of Lania Group, continues its rapid expansion in the international routes by operating new flights to Malaysia and Sri Lanka from the 13th of May 2023. Quoted in Compass.com, Dung Mandela stated Batticare was connected to Indonesia and Sri Lanka from 13th May, flying 7 times a week. Mr. Mandela said the new routes will connect Sri Lanka with 6 major air hubs in Indonesia. The new routes will transit via Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. From Kuala Lumpur onwards, flights to Colombo, Sri Lanka will be operated by Batticare, Malaysia. And that was the development news. Let's move on to sports news, and in soccer, Lionel Messi will return to Paris Saint-Germain, starting a lineup on Saturday for the first time since making an unauthorized trip to Saudi Arabia. The Argentine captain was initially suspended by the club for 2 weeks for the trip, which followed PSG's home defeat in Loreto on the 30th of April. League One leader, who had suffered 3 defeats in the past 4 home games, faces AC Ejeso on Saturday. That was the sports news, business news coming up.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, Union Assurance ended the fiscal year for the year 2022, recording outstanding performance in key financial indices, reaffirming its position as a trailblazing life insurance of the nation. The company recorded impressive growth in key areas, including increasing gross written premium to 160.7 billion rupees from the previous year's figure of 15.4 billion rupees, while the regular new business premiums grew from 4.4 billion rupees to 4.7 billion rupees. The profit before tax also witnessed a significant increase of 42% from 2.6 billion rupees to 3.7 billion rupees. That was the business news. Economic news follows.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of...
For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first, and this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC, imagine the possibilities.
In economic news, Sri Lankan Web3 and blockchain firm Hyperglade announced it has raised $350,000 in funding from Silicon Valley's investor Tim Draper's venture capital firm Draper Associates as a part of their seed investment round. The investment reinforces Hyperglade's innovative Web3 migration solutions for Web2 firms and highlights the potential for Sri Lankan startups ecosystem. Hyperglade, founded over a year ago, specializes in cutting-edge solutions for businesses transitioning from Web2 architectures to decentralized Web3 infrastructure. That was economic news, and the weather report to conclude.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award, whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather report.
And finally, let's take a look at the weather report. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, northwestern and southern provinces. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Galle and Mathura districts. Several spells of showers will occur in the northern and north central provinces as well. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the Uva and eastern provinces, particularly during the afternoon or night. Strong winds about 45 km per hour can be expected at times over the western and southern coastal areas and along the western slopes of the central hills. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The proposed Aswasma Social Benefit Act was taken up for debate in the Parliament today. Landslide warnings for 7 districts issued due to the prevailing inclement weather conditions. Suitable members of the general public were selected through a proper filtering system for the social beneficiary payment scheme. Minister Manusha Nanayakara says the country's economy has improved within a year with the support of the migrant workers. The remittances of the migrant workers have become one of the main foreign income sources of the country. Prices of import as Minister Ali Sabri holds talks with the Swedish counterpart on bolstering trade and investment. In news overseas, Imran Khan to be released from custody in Pakistan, the court rules. And in sports news, it was soccer, Argentine captain Lionel Messi to start for Paris Saint-Germain for the first time since suspension. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.